But the most important thing is that the inflation number alone, the way the NDC is using it, is disingenuous, because they are trying to tell Ghanaians that, things are better, look at inflation number. Oh, your life is better, look at inflation. But the reality on the ground, as my brother said, is that nothing is being reduced, because nothing can be reduced. Inflation at 3% means that you are in a car. Before, yes, admittedly, the inflation was high, so the car was moving faster. So the rate at which things were increasing was much higher. Now, things are still increasing, but it's just that the rate at which it's increasing, according to that number, is meant to be lower. But which things is being put in the inflation basket to determine that lower price? Is it spare parts? No. What is being put in there? Because somebody sent me a thing. I've been looking for it this morning. Spare parts have actually gone up.
But in the past, in the basket, what were we using?
Well, let's ask Dr. Alasa what was being put in there and what's not being put there. It's at the discretion of the statistician. No, I mean, we don't know. That is something that I think should be interrogated. Every time that the statistician put out the inflation figure, he should tell us what's in the inflation basket. Because clearly, you can argue that in the past, inflation was high. We don't know what was in the basket. Today, inflation is low. We don't know what's in the basket. So one of the things that we should query is that what is in the basket for the level of consistency that we've seen. But you see, what I'm saying is that that number, which the NDC want to portray as a good number, yes, for certain economic indicators, but the reality of what Ghanaians are going through today, is it reflective on our lives? That's the question.
Okay. Solomon, before I come to Hamza, let me come to you. So the NPP remains resolute that the numbers are not just enough to say that cost of living for people are okay. I would have thought that if the cost of living, or if the prices of things are going high but on a percentage that is lower, it means that it's not frequent, people would be alleviated a little bit. But they say there's a disconnect in the figures and then the numbers really on the ground.
So as we speak, the NPP as an entity has not been able to conduct any research. Let's put it on that. It's just conjectures. And if there is anything that is making politicians look not trustworthy, is the way we position ourselves whilst in government and our position on the same matters when we are in opposition. You remember restoring the value of the city, that lecture by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2013, 2014, 2015. The main thrust of all the lectures that he conducted or he did was on inflation, exchange rate, and the debt portfolio of the country. At that time, there was still a disconnect, if we had to go by their argument. He used the inflation rate of the country to explain to the people of this country why there was a need to vote out the NDC. Because at that time, inflation was hovering around 17% until 2016, when it dropped to 15.4%. Now, fast forward, when the NPP came to power, 2017, 2018, 2019, go and check all their speakers, communicators, and the government itself, why they were telling the people of this country that they were performing. It all boiled down to inflation, because at that time, 2017, 2018, 2019, on the average, the inflation had reduced from 15.4 to 7%. They hammered it. You understand? So you cannot be a party that have used inflation as your main tool to, as it were, assure public confidence in your governance style, and the same inflation today you say no. The other party cannot use it.
Isn't not a genuine request that let's see what is in the basket. What was in the basket at the time?
Forget about the basket that everybody is talking
about. But that's what's the base of calculating inflation.
When you asked him the basket, what is contained in the basket, he told you that you must go and ask, what's the name? Alasa. So it means he doesn't even know whether or not it's the same basket that is at play here. So then why didn't comment about it?
But in Ghana, we're likely to have what was used to calculate today, will it vary? It doesn't vary.
What?
It's at the discretion of the statistician.
So, but the point must be made here that he does not know what went into the calculation, as he has admitted. So we must first of all establish whether or not what is contained in the basket is the same thing that was contained when they were in government. I have just checked and I realized that it's food items, commodities that predominantly they put in there. But be that as may, we cannot, as a government, there are certain indicators that you have to use to measure your performance. We cannot run away from inflation. If it was good yesterday, it was good today. I don't have any problem with this administration. I mean, taking some credit for the low inflation that they are enjoying. It's within their right. The next thing we have to do is to go into why there seems to be a disconnect between what we are being made to believe and what is happening on the grounds. For me, if anybody is going to do that comparative analysis, it's a good thing. But we cannot discount the impact of inflation. You and I were in this country. I can tell you that the last I was telling you that in the period of 2022-2023, what was happening in this country, I had read it in economics. I never thought in my life that during my lifetime I would experience it. That once you are there or on the spot, prices will just be increasing like nobody's business. We have experienced it in this country.
Okay, let me come to Hamza.
You are done with me. That's fine.
I thought you had paused.
You go.
Okay.
Let me. He's finished. He's finished. If you leave, you talk the whole day.
You went to move to go and do politics. I say that
I went to do the Lord's work. I went to do the Lord's work.
You went to do campaign research.
I went and I conducted research and I did it.
He has given me the data.
Because
he gave me the data.
He just
I also have my ears on the grounds there, so I know why you were doing that, and I know why you did.
Again, as I said.
Why? What did he go to?
I don't know.
Oh, he went to campaign for Dr. Mahmoud. And in fact, they were those policing the ballot boxes for him. He knows that.
They rigged it for him.
You see how they start with propaganda.
Hamza, why is there a disconnect?
I don't think that. Good morning to you. Good morning to my colleagues in the studio, and of course our cherished viewers out there and your production team as well. MFA, I don't think that there's a disconnect when it comes to what we are now beginning to appreciate, that indeed the inflationary rate of Ghana is beginning to show progressive signs of economic recovery. And that is why I was a bit concerned listening to Kwadwo Opoku when he admitted that when we talk about inflation and the rate of inflation, it does not necessarily mean that prices of goods and services don't increase. What it actually means is that the rate at which prices increase has come down. So if in 2024, the rate of price increments hovered around 23% approximately, it simply means that today it hovers around 3.4%. That's why in 2024, or even prior to 2024, you go and buy a bag of maize, and in less than 24 hours, you go back to the same market and the prices shoot up. You go and buy a bag of rice for 350, 400, 500. You go back to the same market in a matter of 24 or 2 days, and it moves to 600, 700 Ghana cedi. The same with cooking oil. Today, that is not the story on the ground. You are going to see some food items that have reduced in prices. Others will increase, but marginally. When you go and pick a bag of rice today, it doesn't go for 500 or 600 Ghana cedis that we used to buy in 2023 and 2024. Same with cooking oil. That got to even 1,000 Ghana cedis per gallon. Today, it is not the same story in our markets. It has come down. And so, if you look at other goods, you may not see or notice such a sharp decline in prices. But what you would appreciate is that the increments are marginal and the prices will be stable. So, for example, even if a bag of maybe toothpaste was going for 20 Ghana cedis in 2024, and today is going for 21 Ghana cedis, you would notice that that price movements will not change in a matter of 2 or 3 days. So even after a month, if you go back to the market, you are still going to buy it for 21 Ghana cedis. So it gives you that price stability. And when you have price stability, businesses will be able to plan. Sorry for that. Businesses will be able to plan appropriately. When you have price stability, your consumers, citizens of the Republic of Ghana, would not go to the market or shops trying to buy goods and would have to run back home because their money that they came with would not be able to pay purchase those items that they came to purchase. And so that point needs to be made.
It's not cut across, right? The 3.8 is an average rate. So definitely it's not all of the prices, the goods that would have the price reduced or the price not increasing quickly.
Yes, but I think I made that point in my submission. That's why I said that some of the prices would decline, some would continue to increase, but at a marginal rate. But you see, my disappointment has to do with the fact that in Kwadwo Opoku's narration, an attempt to criticize the basket that he doesn't even know, he fails to give us that comparative analysis to make his argument sound. If you were telling us that under the NPP regime, that you so much eloquently attempt to defend, that these were the items that constituted the inflationary basket and the justification behind those items, and under this current NDC government, those items have been changed to A, B, C, and D, and that would inform a decline in the rate of inflation, then we can have a meaningful discourse. But if you look at the Ghana Statistical Service, and the same Dr. Alassane he's talking about, there were those in charge of the inflationary basket under the NPP administration.
No, he was not.
He worked closely.
He was at the Ministry of Finance then.
He worked closely with the Minister of Finance.
He did not. He was at the Ministry of Finance. Please
this
don't go
basket
there.
can be
He
too
was
far
not-
away.
Can I?
Everyday.
I'm just correcting it. He was Dr. Alassane.
I said, but you think that the Ghana Statistical Service works alone?
But his role,
I told that they were
as
those
a directorate at the Ministry of
why allow me
Finance.
to
He did
learn
not
from
correcting what you
Don't
said.
do this.
But why
No, I'm correcting what you said.
why does his past matter?
No, but he made
but
he
he said
attempted to
that
question
Alassane-
his competence.
No, he has questioned
and his sincerity. And his sincerity. He has done that on this.
But that's what has been
And I am telling you.
Bro, please stop that thing that you do.
And I
Stop
am
that thing.
telling you.
I'm here. Stop saying I've not said that.
what are you doing?
Please stop it. Please stop it. I've not said that. Please stop it.
That's what you're trying to do.
What I said.
He has questioned the integrity of the man.
Let me make my point.
Isn't it too early for us to start?
Yes,
You go ahead.
let me make my point. You see,
I don't know if this
I
man is
will
part of the NDC now. If you are bring him as a member of the NDC. Because he's a member of the NDC. What party is that? Is the NDC party?
He's a party.
Is he an NDC member?
so
I'll note that so that you can respond to it.
Thank
Whether,
you.
yeah.
so MFA.
I will not mind him because what he said, everybody knows that I'm only playing back what you said. You question the integrity of the man. If the man is so correct,
I don't have
By
a
you,
problem questioning
Hamza, when Kojo is interrupting you, you are angry. When Solomon is interrupting you, are quiet.
No, but it's
Why?
Why are you thinking that?
Because he was not so.
in all seriousness,
He did it.
I'm
He
very
rejected.
disappointed in you for allowing him on this show to be questioning my loyalty to the United Party.
I mean,
it's
I
so
think-
unfortunate.
no, but I think
you
that's-
must stop that.
no, but you-
I am here. How
said your
can
party
and never again in your life try to belittle
Solomon.
the importance of the United Party?
Solomon, do you know why? Because when I introduced you, I was very
No, but you have
apt
to. You have
on
to.
what?
You have
But that,
to,
those
you
are
have to
pedestrian
correct him.
comments. Very
You
pedestrian.
have to correct him.
But that's very
How
pedestrian.
can you do that? We all come here. You have two MPP members here. You're not even ashamed. He is an MPP member. You are an MPP member. As a United Party member, you still have a problem.
But who are you speaking for?
He's speaking for his
I'm
party.
speaking for my party here.
That's his party's document.
Can we
before.
not stop?
So can I make one?
On record, Solomon is the director for communication
this?
for the United Party.
Strategy, I know it's
All right, let's hear you.
I don't know why.
Now, let's
I don't
hear-
know
let's
why.
hear- let's
they are
hear you.
uncomfortable. I don't know why they are
Let's-
uncomfortable with Solo. Because
All
it's
right.
me.
I'm not
Let's hear you.
I see,
comfortable.
MFA, I was making a point, and I said that look, you cannot sit on this table and question the motive of Dr. Alassane, a personality you guys worked closely with at the Ministry of Finance, and they were in charge with handling even, in fact, a liaison between the ministry and many of its agencies. Many of the presentations that were even made in relation to what's the name, policies like the domestic debt exchange program. These presentations were made by Dr. Alassane to the government of Ghana. So he's been part of the system. If the NDC was petty in its politics, would have had issues with him and branded him partisan. But that is a civil servant. Exactly. We've respected. He has risen through the ranks and he has earned his place until you are able to demonstrate to us that under your regime, these items constituted the inflation basket, and under this particular regime, under the same Dr. Alassane, there are changes. Then there's no basis for you to proceed on the basis of assumption to attempt to question the integrity
of
what they have
questioned the integrity,
and he has done so.
I have a right to question his integrity.
But now you are running away from it a while ago.
I'm a fan.
We're running away from
Okay,
it.
both of you. Dr. Zato has been quiet, and I need to go, and I want to hear. Yes, please don't do this. I want to hear Hamza. When we do that, it will look as if his time is a lot, but we're interrupting him.
Exactly.
Thank you for understanding.
That point needs to be made. Again, that is the beauty. That is one thing that makes me admire my political party and the government. And that has to do with our appreciation of the fact that when it comes to figures, and we've made that point since 1992, that when it comes to us, we will begin to respect the figures if we can demonstrate sustainability of these economic metrics, and we can see the impact of that on the average Ghanaian. And so, unlike the NPP, that have shown that their interest is simply in economic figures and how beautiful those figures appear, we go beyond the figures to try to understand the impact of those figures on the ordinary Ghanaian. It is the reason why you don't see us being or over-celebrating economic metrics. Because for us, we would want to see the impact of that on the economy. And we are beginning to see the impact of that on the economy. That is why today, if you go to even our ports, cars that are being imported to this country, the same cars that were imported in 2023 and 2024, the duty has significantly come down because of the way we have managed the economy in the last 1 year.
Could it be that because purchasing power is still weak, people say that there's a disconnect?
Absolutely.
Because if for example, a person's wage or their salary is still stagnant, and yet prices
what has that got to do?
No, because the reason why people say they are not feeling it in their pockets is pretty simple. That, of course, if price of kinky was
I don't agree that people don't. People have not made the point that they don't feel in their pocket. But if you are buying a bag of rice for 500, 600 Ghana cedis in 2023 and 2024, you go back to the market today, the same rice. Most of us eat rice in this country, and you are buying it for 350, 400. That's an improvement.
But
if you are buying a cooking oil for 1,000 Ghana cedis a gallon, even trying to get married, and today you are buying it for 700.
It upsets my thinking of the understanding of inflation, that it does not necessarily reduce the price of the product or the service that you're paying for. It means that the rate at which the price of the thing increases is marginally slower than first.
Yes.
So if the price of that rice was 500 Ghana cedis last year, we're saying that this year, the rate at which it will go to 650 is at a slower pace.
Or a reverse decline.
Nope.
There could be a decline. And that is why we are noticing the decline. Are we not noticing decline in prices? You understand? But the ultimate objective is that this is the rate at which prices increase.
Yeah.
You understand? But I am telling you that because of the management of our economy, now there's even a decline. So, mind you, if you take inflation alone as a metric, you will not be able to appreciate that decline.
No, because we're discussing inflation now first. That's why I'm saying that the one or two people who say that they bought KK and it hasn't reduced is the fact that the person's purchasing power remains the same.
No.
Despite the math you're providing
it's
to
not
me.
accurate, because even if you remember, when President Mahama was sworn into office, I think the first 3 months or so, he had engagements with organized labor, with the minister responsible for employment and finance. And increments were announced in terms of even people's salaries.
The wages.
Wages. And so it's not as if wages have been stagnant. That is not the case. And mind you, you are also failing to appreciate the relevance of even our exchange rate regime today.
Very important.
Because what it simply means is that even the 1,000 Ghana cedis in 2024, that did not have much in terms of value. Today, that same 1,000 Ghana cedis is able to buy things you couldn't use it to buy in 2024.
Okay, so how do I explain
really
that my wage has been increased?
An improvement in terms of the purchasing power.
That I'll come to you, but how do I explain that my wage has been increased at a certain percentage, but my electricity tariff has gone up?
I don't get it.
No, if my wage is, because his argument is that the wage has been increased, so your salary is not stagnant.
Yes.
That's granted. It's been increased. Yeah. So same as my tariff at home increased.
Yeah, because and the reason why your the tariff has to increase. How you want to respond?
Let me respond.
All right.
First of all, I made the point.
They are showing themselves a day.
We're learning.
now part of history.
We're learning.
You are responding
We're
for
At
learning.
the time,
Okay.
the value of your thousand.
Why is this fixation?
At the time, the value of your thousand.
please.
At the time, the value of your 1,000 cedis
Why you were speaking? When you were speaking?
had low purchasing power. Prices of essentials like water, electricity, these prices were increasing. Today, your purchasing power has improved. It doesn't mean that those prices will stay static.
Yeah, I want to go.
Okay.
It simply means that where you can cut savings, in the past you couldn't cut savings there. Today you can even cut savings to be able to meet other expenditure lines like your essentials, electricity and water. So it does not necessarily mean that your purchasing power has dropped because electricity prices has increased. Absolutely not.
Okay, it's a good place to land. Dr. Zato, let me hear you. When you visited Tumu,
Madam, if let's clear this, that
Yeah.
the basket since 2015 has always contained 150 items. The same thing.
yeah,
It has
I agree
never-
too. I totally agree.
So
I do not see how the
yes.
basket I do not see how the government statistician can come up with an entirely different item.
So it has been so since 2015, ever since we did the rebasing.
Okay.
It has to do, and also, Dr. Alassane has been working closely.
With the statistical service, I just got an information.
He's a scholar.
Confirmation.
You see, we cannot just, on the altar of doing propaganda,
he's actually a statistician.
try to impugn the integrity.
That's the word.
No, but that's no. It's I think it's a genuine question.
Question is what?
It was a genuine question that they asked.
You must question the
It was not a genuine
evidence.
question. What was the basis using that word?
How can you?
What was the basis?
But you have the answer now. But you have the answer now.
But stop.
That he must correct himself. Apologize to the viewers.
No,
I'm
but
talking
he was
about
asking
apologize to the viewers.
You know what?
He says he doesn't
He
know
must
what's in the
apologize to-
basket. We must interrogate. Let's be
Interrogate
clear.
what?
He said we must
Interrogate the what?
and you've got to
but you
interrogate.
didn't
You have
know what
interrogated. You have the
manipulation-
answer now.
Huh?
He says
What
we
is
must
it? What is-
interrogate
apologize
what's
for what?
in the
The man
basket.
came here. Let's play back. The man came here.
Let me go
Try
to
to
Dr.
run down
Those are
I
your
like to
words.
think that I heard him quite
Those are your
clearly,
words.
but
No,
let
I'm
me
coming
get
from the
Dr. Zato.
Please stop
background
that.
in
Please stop that.
2014.
Please, it won't help
Same
you. Stop it.
NPP.
It won't help you.
Through Kwadwo
No,
Opoku,
stop.
question the integrity of the statistician there.
Give
You
me a
must have
minute.
a background.
Give me a minute because you have background. That's
Yeah.
why I'm brand new to what you think you're
Yeah.
seeing. I'll come to you for that. But let me hear you, Dr. Zato.
Thank you. In 2024, if you were a maize farmer in Tumu, in Sake, in Kong, in Wallenjang, Bewesijang, in Komo, in Santijang, you could sell one bag of maize and then you can buy a bag of fertilizer at least and still have some change. In those times, if you had a bag of beans, you could sell it and also buy one bag of fertilizer at that time. Farmers were in a better place. Farmers could make a decent living. When they harvested, they could pay back their loans and then they could have some money left. They could use that to maybe to roof their house, to build a house. They could use that, some of them use that to marry a second wife. Some of them use that to pay their children's school fees and go to. Something happened recently. My member of parliament went to a community to commission a chips compound. And one of the elders...
By the way, who's your member of parliament?
Mohammed Bataglia. He's here.
Why do you mention his name as though he doesn't exist? Mention his name.
I said Mohammed Bataglia. Honorable Mohammed Bataglia.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you. And when he commissioned it, and then now, usually when you commission a project, like, people are happy. One of the elders took a microphone and he says, look, this commission is not necessarily important. He says, these days, if you have money, you can go anywhere and get good healthcare. He said, if you have money in that community, you can go to Tumu and get better healthcare. You can go to Wa and get better healthcare. You can come down to Accra and get, you can even go abroad to get better healthcare. He said, what is important to them is that they cannot sell their maize and they don't have money in their pocket. That was instructive. So the point I'm beginning to make is that, yes, you can run down these financial or economic statistics. I'm not going to sit here and impugn the integrity of anybody. No. Statistics is not my stronghold, but I get it. I'm not going to say, yes, that is the inflation rate for a country, we use that. That is the dollar rate. That is all this. But the ordinary people in my community where I come from fill this page. They can no more buy fertilizers.
Really?
Yes. A bag of fertilizer.
And they could buy fertilizers and NPP.
Yes, I'm telling you, yes. A bag of maize would have cost you almost 600 Ghana cedis. That could buy NPK, that could buy sulfate. I'm telling you facts.
So, Dr. Zato, if
Yes.
I understand you, there are two groups of people we're discussing now.
Exactly.
The farmer and the consumer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now,
the farmer, because the price of the maize cannot be increased frequently and rapidly, cannot make a lot of profit to buy fertilizer.
the farmer faces a double thing. One, the price of the maize has collapsed. Today, it's about 250 cedis. That's one. Two,
is the consumer able to buy?
Two, there's even no demand for it. So they have the product there, a lot of it, that's what we're talking about, the glut. They cannot sell it.
So why don't we separate the issue?
I'm trying to talk about the economy. Usually, when we talk about this economics, we talk it as if it's abstract terms. We talk about, yes, I'm in Accra. I benefit from lower fuel prices. I benefit from maybe ASEM. But the man sitting in Kung with a house full of about 1,000 bags of maize, my friend sitting in Mandron with 1,000 bags of maize faces a different economy. His economy is just one. He doesn't have anybody to buy the maize. His whole investment has been put into that farm. Nobody to buy the maize. Two, if the people that are coming to buy, the price is not good, so they're not buying. So he cannot then go out and then sell that maize to enjoy the benefits of the oil he's talking about, of the rice he's talking about, of the things he's talking about. They are then wallowing in poverty and they are facing bankruptcy.
Dr. Zato, I'm with you. Okay. And I'm saying
that is one aspect of it.
One aspect. Mm-hmm. Whilst I think it has a direct impact on inflation, I can't help but bring inflation back to the fore, on the table. And I'm saying that when we separate the two, right, where there's no demand, because I think that the economics can dare do the math and say that if there's no demand, it has no direct link to inflation. The farmer, if I understand, is not able to sell because what? It's not that they can't sell. They can't make profit.
Actually, they cannot sell. That's one of the things. There's nobody to buy.
If there's nobody to buy, I want to see how inflation it's contributing.
Exactly. So this is what happens then. Don't try to what this idea of trying to what force down inflation on the throats of everybody, as if precisely because inflation is down, we should all be singing Kumbaya. It's wrong. The inflation is down, interest rates are down, dollar is down. They affect a certain aspect of the economy, not the whole economy. What as a country we should be doing is that what happens to that other economy? If you go to northern region, other aspects of them, they produce yam. The yam is getting rotten, they don't have people to buy. You know that, right? If you go to other parts of our place, they have rice. The rice is rotten, they have nobody to buy. If you go to them, you then go to his in-laws, and where I come from, they have maize and beans they cannot buy. If you come down south here, what's the name? Poultry farmers cannot sell.
What do you think has contributed to this?
Let me make this point. Now, today, yesterday, we're told cocoa farmers are threatening that they would send their cocoa farms into galamsey sites, they will send it into rubber sites, or they will illegally export it. Now, the question is, so when you are talking about the economy, let's be able to say that there are different economies. There's the economy of people who are benefiting directly from these inflation rates and the statistics that the government likes to shove down our throats. But then there are large segments of the Ghanaian economy who are not benefiting or do not see any direct benefit from this statistics.
Is that not what in economics equilibrium seeks to cure? Because one can never be more than the other. So there has to be a supply, there has to be a demand.
The inflation that is not a one cure for all. But the point, then let's come down to this issue. Then what should we do? What should the government be doing? What should we do to help these poor, marginalized, forgotten, frustrated, poor farmers? What should we be doing? Let's add value to our products. That's where I think the 24-hour economy could come up. But now that policy, Yamutu. The 24-hour economy, we know it is Yamutu. So far, we are more than 1 year. We've been paying people for 1 year to do 24-hour economy. It still exists only on paper. It has not yet come. Now we'll be hearing that it will come. It will come. The 24-hour economy is now looking like rain that will never come in the dry season. But that's the point. If we were able to do that, if we were able to use that to say, let's add value. Let's add value. So the yam that is rotten, why should we sit down as a country and watch this poor farmers' labor going to waste? What can we do with our yam?
The government has said that it has laid out a plan, it's rolled out a plan. Have you not heard?
What is the plan? I don't know.
Beyond it's making resources available for the buffer stock
the government is very good when it comes to rhetoric. I will give it to them. They are excellent. This government has perfected the art of rhetoric, the art of speaking, the art of optics.
Okay.
The bling-bling, the government is good with the bling-bling, but I'm saying that has not affected these farmers. The rot is still happening. The maize is still rotten. The yam is rotten. The rice is rotten. They are still happening. The cocoa farmers are not going to pay.
For the demand, shouldn't it be the market correcting itself? Because we can only do one at a time.
No, we are dealing with social democrats. They do not believe in that. They do not. Social democrats do not necessarily believe in the market correction. They believe in the strong arm of the government, not necessarily the invisible hand of the invisible hand of the market. Oh,
he says it's not true. He belongs to this government.
It doesn't mean believe. We know the theory. You mean social democrats do not believe in the strong arm of the government to correct market failure? No, you mean they don't believe that?
I mean, he's here.
It's not up to him. No, it's not up to him. He doesn't own the knowledge about social democracy. He doesn't.
an appreciation.
He doesn't. When I was talking, I try to allow him.
Let me make a note.
So the issues of market failure and economic failure. So if the government then realizes that no, the market alone is not there, that is actually what the Social Democrats believe in, a strong interventionist government in the market. That's one of the fundamental differences, that the role of the government, whilst...
Dr. Zato, simplify it for me. For the viewer who's watching now, simplify that what? There are two issues.
Yes.
That consumers must buy at a lower price or at a price that they can plan their lives at. And then the seller of that product as well must be able to what? Refurbish their product. Like they must be able to sell and all.
And recoup their investment.
One is impacted by inflation. The other is impacted by the market's behavior.
So most commonly, what governments do, they find a way for us, and that's where the whole farm gate price issue comes in.
So the question I should be asking government is, what is government doing to what?
You can ask him later.
To correct the market.
Yes, you can do that. So the government then come out and said, okay, this is how much, there's a glut. How much of the excess can you take? And then use it, as I said, you can do things like quality addition. You can use it to, what's the name, feed secondary schools. All these things have been mentioned. But how effective, how are they being worked? You can use the